So unfortunately, life's journey is not as easy as putting where you want to go into Google Maps and you go life's journey and start, and then that blue thing comes up and then all the gray like ones too, and you go, oh, I've always wanted to go to Thailand, I might take this journey. And with me being South African, it's always hard because I need visas to go everywhere. So it'll be easier, like, this one requires too many visas, and you pick your route and you start, and then it says like, okay, 900 meters turn left, and your life is planned. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like this. When the phenomenon of GPS came to South Africa, we had the old Garmins. I don't know if you had them here. And because South Africa is a country that people don't map so well, we had the thing go turn left at 900 meters, but there was no left to turn to. Or there was turn right at 900 meters, and there was no right to turn to. Or you're on a highway, and it says make a U-turn, but how do you make a U-turn on a highway? And it was very scary. And sometimes in life, our relationship with God and journey with God is like the Garmin GPS. We're going, and there's the supermarket we want to go to. Is right there, and he goes, turn right, but it's, turn right, but it's over there, and sorry. And you go this whole long route around, and you ask him why, but it's right there. And sometimes you go, no, I'm tired of the long route, and you go left into the supermarket, and it's actually not where you're supposed to go now. And there's a reason why he's taking you this long route, because there's lessons you have to learn is you're not ready to go there. And, sorry, I'm going to read, before we start, I'm going to read Psalms 23 from a different version. It's one of my favorite versions. It's called The Voice. It just puts the Bible in a bit of a different light, and it's something that I always go to. And it says, "The Eternal is my shepherd, he cares for me always. He provides me rest in rich green fields, beside streams of refreshing water. He soothes my fears. He makes me whole again, steering me off worn, hard path to roads where truth and righteousness echo his name. Even in the unending shadows of death's darkness, I'm not overcome by fear, because you are with me in those dark moments. Near with your protection and guidance, I am comforted. You spread out a table before me, provisions in the midst of attack from my enemies. You care for all my needs, anointing my head with soothing fragrant oil, filling my cup again and again with your grace. Certainly your faithful protection, loving provision will pursue me everywhere I go, always, everywhere. I will be with the Eternal in your house forever." Amen. So this verse, he says always, and that one it says I shall not want. And I want to touch a bit on both the always and the I shall not want. When we hear the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, we think of like, all I need is Jesus, and I've got Jesus, everything is going to be okay, and I've got him, I don't need anything else in the world, I've got Jesus. And yes, that is true, but it's also that he takes care of everything you need now. Everything you want now is taken care of. He's not the type of shepherd who puts enough food in the troughs for 3 weeks and says, I'll see you later, and then you kind of take care of yourself. He's with you through the whole journey. And I give you a little bit of an example with that. Came to England in 2015. I worked at Stanborough Park Church for 2 years as a student missionary, and I had the opportunity to come here to Newbold. And because I'm South African, I need visas, so I went back home for 3 weeks, and was supposed to start the spring semester last year here, but the 3 weeks turned into 7 months, because it was just visa got denied and all these things happened. And I had a ticket already booked, and I had to be pushing my ticket up and up and up and up. And I was like, it cost me £25 every time to push. And £25 is not a lot of money, but if you're pushing a ticket 5 times, it becomes a lot of money. And you're student, £25 is a lot of money. And eventually, through God's grace and a lot of effort, I managed to get my visa. And it was stressful because the day I got my visa was the day I was supposed to leave. And 2 days before, I heard nothing from the visa. I'm like, I have to go. I can't push this ticket up even more. And I get a phone call from the British Embassy, and they're like, Jared, don't worry, you'll get your visa on this date, ready for you to go. I'm like, yes, thank you, God. Pack my bags, everything ready, go in the morning to pick my visa up. As I'm leaving, something says, look down. I look down on the visa, and this was the 27th of July. The 4th of August, the visa was valid for. I'm like, this is not supposed to happen. I'm supposed to leave today. I need this now. So sorry, Jared, there's nothing we can do about it. I'm like, but you don't understand. I have my ticket. I need to go now. Sorry, you have to wait. So I phoned the lady at Stanmore Park Church who was sorting out my ticket, and she's like, don't worry, we can push it for the 10th of August for you, but it's going to cost another £350. I'm like, okay. Now, I come from, my parents have both decent jobs and stuff, but having 2 kids in university, you don't have £350 lying around. It's not something you have in your back pocket. Yeah, here's the money. But I'm like, God, you know I don't have this money. You know this, all this trouble and still this, like, why is this happening? Like, I need this money now. I need to go to England, but why are you making it so hard? And with His grace, we managed to round up the £350 and we paid it and we got the ticket. And, but now finances were a little bit rocky and things now because all my parents' money went into getting me here. And I came here on a possible unknowns and a bit scary, and I had a certain amount of money in my pocket and I had to pay my student loans every month, and it was very scary because I don't know where this money was going to come from. But somehow, through God's grace, I got jobs and everything was fine. And about 3 weeks later, my dad phones me and he's like, how's your financial situation doing? I'm like, how's your financial situation doing? And he's like, no, it's fine. I'll send you some money next week. I'm like, why are you sending? Like, it's worry about you guys. I'm fine, Dad. So, no, don't worry. I've got money. Like, I'll send you money next week. It's like, why? He says, just trust me, I'll send you money. So I'm start Googling, like, bank robberies in South Africa. Like, oh, my dad's going to jail. No. And so I phoned my mom, and my mom's like, yeah, your dad's boss came to him, and he says that we appreciate your work. So here's a significantly large sum of money. And it was more than enough to pay the debts, to pay my sister's university, to pay everything we need, and still have some. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, thank you, God. And it was there in the back of my head, and I'm like, okay. And when I started to unpack this verse, I have this great talent. It's not a great talent, but I think it was a great talent. I can put a mask on, a facade. So I can look happy and cheerful and help people and think life's great, but meanwhile, I'm broken and I'm battling on the inside because I don't want anyone to see me. I don't want anyone to worry about me. I don't think anyone cares about me, so I don't share my things. And I was trying to trade that, and when the New Year's came around, everyone writes the New Year's resolution. I want to lose weight, stop eating sugar. You know, we always write these things down. And I said, I want to do a little bit different this year. I want to enjoy my journey with God. I want to be honest with myself and honest with people, and I write this list down. And I was sitting one evening, and I'm like, how do I do this? It was all very scary because it's all said and well to do this, but it's always easier said than done. And I look, and God was like, it wasn't a significant thing. It was just like, let's go through Psalms 23. So we started and we unpacking it together, and it comes to I shall not want, and then the story hits me, bam. And it all makes sense, is that, yes, it would have been great to have that money in the beginning, but I had enough to get to England. I had the want now. The next step, the next want, the next money we need, He provided. And God cares about the small things in life, the things that we want. Yes, like we all want like Ferraris, and we want like the nice house and the salaries and all those things, but His wants and our wants are a little bit different, you know. But He lines them up, and you go, okay, this is what my son, this is what my daughter, this is what Jared needs for the journey, and we'll get these wants like this. And now I want to talk about the always. This one says always, and this one hit me really hard. A little bit about my story. I come from a loving parents, a loving home, not just because my parents are washing, but my parents are amazing. Hi, Mom. But I had a great childhood until I got to high school. And I was homeschooled for 7 years with other people, but a lot older than me. And then I went to a government school with everyone my own age, not knowing how to make friends with people my own age and everything. So I was bullied, like severely bullied. And I didn't tell anyone because I don't want people to care about me. So it's like, I don't want parents to worry, so it's fine, don't worry. And somehow, through God's grace, 2 years later, I became best friends with the people who bullied me. But that's a different story. But I have a soft heart, and I love helping people. And unfortunately, there's people in life that see that and will milk it as much as they want to. And that happened with me. A lot of people took what they wanted from Jared, and then when they were finished, pushed Jared aside. And I'm not saying this because I want you to feel sorry for me. I need to, for the next point. So in my life, it clicked this thing on my head. It says that if I make a mistake or if I mess up, I'm going to be thrown away. So that is what I have in my life now. And now I take that and I put that on my relationship with God. If I mess up, if I make a mistake, He's going not to be there, okay? Like, He's going to say, Jared, you're not worthy enough. And I know it's not true, and the Bible says always that He's going to be here, but it's one thing to read it and it's another thing to believe it. And now you have this thing in your head going on, and this thing is saying, I'm always here, and there's this battle. And one day in January, I'm walking up the stairs, and I've made a mistake, and I'm like, I can't even remember what I did, but I'm like, God, why are you still here? Why do you still love me? I keep messing up. Look at everything I've done in my past. Why are you still, like, my God, why do you still want to have this journey with me? And we were walking up the stairs in Q House, and this verse, it comes in and He says, I will always be there. And He's like, do you know what always means? And I'm like, no. He says, always is my best friend denying me 3 times, but yet I still build my church on it. And I'm like, wow, okay. It's like always is in Jared, if you mess up, if you make mistakes, I'm always going to be there. You know why? Because, thank you so much. Sorry, as like hazard, I've been sick the last 3 days. So to try and get enough energy to stand here, sorry. And so He's like, I will always be here for you. And all I care about is the simple fact that you want to make me your shepherd. That if you make a mistake, that if you mess up, I am here. Why? Because I love you, and I know how hard it is to make the decisions to make me your shepherd, and yet I still want to journey with you. So look at Peter. Peter messed up, and yet I still made him my shepherd, still made him awesome, look after my sheep, still built my church on him. And I still want to do the same with you. I want to have this journey with you because I'm always there. No matter what, in life we always have that. There's all of us, we have these brokenness, and we think we can't come to God because I'm too broken, that He's not going to forgive me. It's not true, though. He's there. He wants to always be there for you. All you have to go is, God, please be my shepherd. Please be there, and He will be there no matter what. He'll never leave you. I do apologize if I'm all over the place. He makes me whole again, steering me of hard paths to roads where truth and righteousness echo His name. Does anyone know what the London Overground is? It's that train that's in London that goes at every single stop until it gets to the final destination. So I lived in Watford for 2 years, and I used to go to London a lot because I used to work there, and my uncle lives in London, and there was 2 ways to get to London, to Euston was our station, was by the London Midlands, and it took 15 minutes if it didn't stop at another stop. Or the London Overground that took 58 minutes, and it stopped at every single station until the point it was soul-destroying. And so every time I always made sure I made the 18-minute thing because I couldn't. It killed me because 58 minutes of my life I'll never, ever get back. And so the hard pass thing is like the London Midlands train. The train that God wants us to get on is the Midlands, is the quick one to where He wants to get us. Not generally quick, but it's the fast one. But unfortunately, sometimes we don't listen. We like to take the GPS in our own hands, and we go left when we're supposed to go right, and we have to take the London Overground, the one that stops at every single stop. But yet still, we get to the point where He wants us. We still get, because He steers off of those hard paths to where truth and righteousness echo His name, we get to the point where He wants us to be. And that's the beauty of it, that He doesn't leave you there and say, bye. He's always there. And He will guide you down. Sorry, everything's in my head. I've skipped a verse, and this is my favorite verse out of the whole 23. It's one of my favorite. It's one up. It says, He provides me in rest in rich green fields, pursuing streams of refreshing waters. He soothes my fears. And when you think of these green pastures, you think of like those like nice ones, like in the movies, like Shrek does it a lot, where like Shrek's running and Fiona's there, and there's like they're running to each other, and there's this fluffy green grass and like the pink daisies, and life's great, the one that you want to sleep on forever and roll in, and that want to be your bed, it's like that carpet grass. Well, that's not it. So I watched this video by this theologian, and this Bible guy's tour, and he shows this hill. And it's quite rocky. So imagine a hillside with these tufts of grass on it. And he goes, this is probably the green pastures that he was talking about. And he was like, the sheep trust that their shepherd will lead them to a green tuft every 10 minutes or whatever like this. So they have their tuft of grass now, and the next tuft and the next tuft, the sheep will lead them there. And it like hit me, because he was like, that's the same thing in our life with God. If God gives us these green pastures and stuff, where's the faith? Where's the lessons? Like, I've got everything I want now, so why do I have to carry on? Like, it's fine, I'll just stay here on my green fluffy grass. But that if the green tuft is like, Jared, I'm here. I'm going to take you through this tuft, through that tuft. Every 10 minutes, or whenever it is, I will lead you to your next piece of grass because I'm your shepherd. And I want you to enjoy this grass now, and I'll take it on. Sorry, I got a bit ahead of myself, but this is one of the cruxes, one of the things that I battled with the most in my life. So I told you that I have this thing with God that if I make a mistake, He throws me away. And I have the same thing with people, that if I make a mistake or I mess up, my friends, family, or whatever it is going to throw me away, because that's all I've ever known. And I know it's not true, and God's blessed me with amazing friends here and with colleagues and bosses who really care for me. If I make a mistake, I know they'll pick me up and keep going. But in my mind, all I know is that if I make a mistake, they're going to throw me away. And I was really battling with it, still like battling with it. I'm like, God, I want to change this. Like, why is this thing? Because whenever I make a mistake, in my head, like I'm going to get thrown away, but I know it's not true. And this is constant battle in my mind. And I was walking up the steps again in Q House. If you ever want like spiritual, like reformation, you want to answer from God, those steps in Q House, apparently it's the place to be. Like every time like God speaks to me, is those steps in Q House. So Jesus is there. And he was like, Jared, who is your shepherd? And I'm like, what do you mean? He says, like, do you trust me to take you to your next piece of grass? And I'm like, because at the moment you're worried about the ifs, buts, and whys. You're worried about that if you make a mistake here and if they throw you away, where's your salary going to come from? You're going to lose your job, or you lose your friendship, and you worry about all these things that you forget that I'm the one who gave you all of this in the first place. I'm the one who made this miracle possible. So I'm going to make sure that you get your next tuft of grass. So why, if you focus on me and focus about giving your best and enjoying this moment and giving me your best at this tuft of grass, that the next one, I'll make sure everything will be okay. But if you focus on all the whats and whens and what happens if I can't pay my next bill because I've lost my job because I made a mistake and someone throws me away, your focus is not on me. I will worry about that. All that is my problem. You give me your best here, and the rest I will lead. And it hit me. Because a lot of times, I'm not the only one who thinks like this, is we have all these whys and buts, and we worry about all these different things, and we forget that the life we have and the things we have, it's because of our shepherd. And He's the one that's going to lead us to the next tuft of grass. He's the one that's going to take us to the next place. And all we have to do is trust Him. Trust that He will be the one. He will guide us. He doesn't leave you. He will go, and that's when it comes on to the hard pass, and He will steer you back to where He wants to go. Even if you have to take that London Overground, He will be there with you the whole way. He won't say at the Watford, I'll see you in London. He will jump on and He'll make sure you get to that destination. Even if it's long and even if it's hard, He will be there. He will steer off those hard paths to where you need to go. And then we come to verse 4. It's one that we've all read, and it's read a lot in funerals, and it's read a lot all the time when we go through difficult times. And it says that even in the unending shadows of death's darkness, I'm not overcome by fear, because you are with me in those dark moments, near with your protection and guidance, I'm comforted. This one, it says it's nice too, is though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And this is not only a verse that we should read when like we're going through like death situations and a loss of a family. It's a verse that happens in life when we are in those unending shadows of darkness, when things are out to attack us, when life just wants to get you down and everything is piled against you and you can't see the light at the end of the day. And it's a scary place to be in when you just see no way of getting out. But then you have this picture of your shepherd with his staff and this is what, and he's got one hand over you, but he's also protecting you. He's using it to fight off everything that's trying to attack you, because that's what they use them. Real shepherds, God is a real shepherd, but shepherds with their herds, that's what they use them for. They fought with lions and wolves and things with their staff and with their rod, and that's what he's doing with you. He's fighting off all those things in life that's trying to get you down, and all you have to do is keep walking forward. Keep going. It's hard. The next step is always going to be hard in those moments. Then you sit there and you just think, I can't go on. There's no way to keep moving, but the only way to do it is just keep moving forward, knowing that your God, that your shepherd is protecting you in that moment. Because what we do is we stop and we stay and we just call up a little ball and say, I can't do this anymore. And everything like crowds you around. And the only way to get out of those situations is to keep going, because he will take you to his next tougher grass. He will get you through it. Just never give up. Because, I mean, that's the scary part, is that it's so easy to give up. But we have a God who's fighting through it. He's there with you in that dark valley. He's not at the top saying, go, Jared, go. He's in there with you, pushing it through, fighting that battle for you. Then we're going into one of the final verses, and it says that you prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Now, this one is like you have this picture in your head where you're like sitting there like everything you want in life is there. You got your Rolex on, you got everything there, and you're like laughing at everyone, like all your exes, like, you left me now, see what I got, But that's not like the point of it, And this one also really got me, is because what God is trying to show you is he goes to the people who doubted you and doubted him and saying, look what I've done. He came to me broken, and look how I've changed him. Look at the journey that I walked with him. And look how I've fixed him and changed him. And he uses you as almost like a tool in his hands and goes, I want to do the same for you. He shows you in front of everyone that started you, in front of all your enemies, and go, look what he has. This is what he has because he never gave up on me, because he loves me, because he chose to make me his shepherd. And I want to give the same thing to you. What I've done with Jared, what I've done with this person or that person, I can do exactly the same for you. All you have to do is make me your shepherd. And I don't know where everyone is in their lives today. I don't know where on the journey with you are, and if you're broken and the things we have in our lives. But what he's trying to say to you today is that I want to be your shepherd. That what I have and what I've given to other people, I can give to you too. All you have to do is say, I will be your shepherd. I want you to be my shepherd. Please guide me. And you can be as broken as anything, and you can come to him and say, like, Lord, I'm not worthy of this, and trust me, you are. And he will do amazing things. I mean, look at all the amazing people in the Bible. David, Moses, Abraham, they all made mistakes. David, how many times did he mess up? How many mistakes did he make? And God still said, he's a man out of my own heart. We can make countless mistakes, and we can think we're broken as anything. All he wants to do is say that I am your shepherd. And he'll put a table in front of your enemies, and he will use you as an example and say, look what I did. Look what I do to the people who follow me, to the people who never give up on me, who every day want to give me their best and make me their shepherd. And it's amazing, because it hit me so hard, because think of everything I've done and all the times I've hurt him and made mistakes against him, that my God still wants to use me to touch other people's lives, that he still wants to go, I want to use Jared to make a difference. And that's amazing, is that anything we can do, all the mistakes, he goes, I want to use you. Because he looks past all of that and he sees you. And he sees the difference. He sees the beautiful in you that he can do. And he looks past all your mistakes. And it's kind of hard to see because we can't look past our mistakes. But just because we can't doesn't mean God can't. And then we go to the last verse. And it says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This one is cool because it says surely, and surely is the word like, because all of this happened, that your goodness and your mercy is always going to follow me. Because you're my shepherd, you're always going to be there, so I don't have to worry, because surely that your goodness and your mercy will always be there. And all the days of my life, wherever I go, through the next grass, through the next piece of grass, through the valley of the darkness of death, through hard paths, that your love and your mercy will always be there. You will always be my shepherd. And that one day, at the end of it all, I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That I will be with you in heaven one day. At the end of all of this, because you were my shepherd and you journey through life with me. I know it was a bit all over the place with this, but at the end of the day, all I want to say is that I don't know where you are, and I've mentioned it before, but I don't know if you've made him your shepherd or you're a bit scared to, or there's things in life that you think he won't accept. Take it. Say to him today that, Lord, I want to be your shepherd. And I want you to be my shepherd. I want you to guide me. I want you to lead me down your path. It's not the easiest of journeys. It's hard and it's scary, but it's worth it. It's something that you're not going to regret at the end. And he will always be there, no matter what. His mercy will never fail. That he will lead you to your next grass. He will lead you through the hard times. He will always be there. All you have to say is that I want you to be my shepherd. Amen.